Welcome back to the D&D Talk Wrestling Weekly Rewind. You got nothing to say? Oh. As you can see, it's a little different this week. My man's feeling a little under the weather, but fear not, I have a special guest replacement. Just hold on, I gotta go get him. Hold on. Oh. Somebody, didn't want to leave me. He had to get his boy on. He had to get his shirt on. He had to go get dressed for the episode, but he's here. He's good. He's a little special guest host for this week. So, like I said, Dave wasn't feeling too well. So I asked him, and he said it was cool if I just did the rewind for this week, just in case we don't get to the podcast. But we wanted to get a video out this week. So, like always, we're going to talk about what happened in the previous week of wrestling. I am not going to talk about WrestleMania. That is going to be on the podcast. Some of the things that happened on Raw, we're going to talk about on the podcast. I feel like I don't want to talk about them alone, especially some of the things that happened on Raw. But like always, we're going to go over the ropes. We're going to go do our little special shout out. I got a promo. I might have two promos since it's only me talking. So I might have one. You got anything to say? No? Ooh, no? Okay, he ain't got nothing to say. But let's get into it. Let's get into it for AEW Dynamite last week. It was a special Dynamite Spring Breakthrough because, as I stated the week prior, that is the official episode that beats Monday Nitro. So Dynamite started out with the Women's Owen Hart Tournament match of Mercedes Moné. I know that's his favorite. He doesn't want to admit it, but I know it's his favorite. I know, you don't got to say nothing. Mercedes Moné versus Athena. Moné won with an O'Connor roll to advance into the tournament, and I believe they're either in the semifinals or the finals. I'm not 100% sure. But then we go to the Men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament match. Hangman Adam Page versus the wild card. The wild card happened to free agent Josh Alexander, who is no longer a free agent, but I'll talk about it a little bit more in Outside the Ropes. Hangman got the pin to advance. After the match, Fletcher came out because I believe it's now going to be Fletcher versus Hangman. Fletcher was talking, saying whatever. You can see Don Callis walk over to Josh Alexander, whisper something to him. So Josh Alexander attacked Hangman. He attacked him, then he left. Is he part of the Don Callis family? Is he not? We don't know yet. Next was the World Tag Team Championship match. The Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, versus the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. The Hurt Syndicate retained the titles when Lashley speared Bishop Khan. After the match, MJF came out. He's still trying to be part of the Hurt Syndicate. He said, this time I have some recruiting tactics. He brought out a couple women. Shelton Benjamin was all about it. Shelton Benjamin's twirling it around. I was dying. He teased MJF. He said he might give him Shelton Benjamin teased MJF. I might give you an up. You got to see what the time, something about time. And he kept going like time, which made MJF realize, oh, he wants my watch. So he was going to give him his watch. He said, if you give me an up, you can get the watch. MVP gave his up. Shelton Benjamin was going to give up, but then he gave it down. But MJF was like, all right, you know what? As a peace offering still, here's my watch. You can still have the women, party with the women for the night. I think eventually they're going to go up, or at least Shelton's going to give him an up, and then it's going to take Bobby a couple weeks. But I think they're going to get there. Next was the Men's Owen Hart Foundation tournament match of Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita. Ospreay won with a combination of the Hidden Blade into a Styles Clash into the Stormbreaker, which was amazing. To see something like that, that was crazy. And Dynamite ended with the Trios Championship match of the Death Riders, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio, and Moxley taking place for Pac because Pac's ankle is, I believe, broke. Versus the Ops of Samoa Joe, Katsuyori Shibata, and Hook. They did announce that Hook was jumped before the show by the Death Rider, so he wouldn't be there. But what it is last week in their match, he threw up in the middle of the match in the ring. He tried covering, but you can see it, and then he got I forget what Claudio calls it, his finisher onto the chair. I think he got a concussion, something else. I think he's out. He's hurt bad because even Taz wasn't there. Taz was at the hospital with him. So all night, it was just Joe and Shibata. Yeah, we can do it ourselves. Then they came out, and then Powerhouse Hobbs came out. So everybody realized it was going to be Hobbs taking Hook's place. The match is really great. The ending was weird because Hobbs powerbombed Wheeler through a table. Shibata PK kicked and then choked out Claudio on the ramp. And then Samoa Joe had Mox in the coquina clutch and Mox passed out. He didn't tap out. He passed out. Getting them the trios titles. I don't think it was supposed to be that way. But I feel like Pac's injury is worse than what was first previously meant to be. Which is why they won the titles. Because why would you have the world champ pass out and lose the trios titles? But after the match, some of the roster came out to celebrate. They said they were celebrating because the Ops finally got the trios titles off of Death Riders. Death Riders don't have that hold anymore. But like I said previously, it's also because this was the night that AEW Dynamite beat Monday Nitro on the longest lasting professional wrestling show on TNT. Which is cool. Congratulations. A lot of people didn't think you were going to do it. I did. I've been watching AEW from the beginning. Even when AEW was AEW NXT the same night, I would watch AEW live, watch NXT later on. Next, instead of going to SmackDown, Collision was actually Thursday night because they didn't want to compete with WrestleMania, which is smart, obviously. So it was still called Breakthrough. So AEW Collision Spring Breakthrough. The first match was Kevin Knight versus Lance Archer. Shockingly, Kevin Knight won with a springboard clothesline on Archer. Next was Rocky Romero and the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii versus Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander, who is part of the Don Callis family now, apparently. Alexander and Takeshita won the match when Rocky Romero didn't tag in Ishii when Ishii looked like he needed the help. After the match, Trent Beretta came back. Well, after the match, Rocky Romero was attacking Ishii. Trent Beretta came back and helped attack Ishii. Josh Alexander and Takeshita came back out. They were all attacking Ishii. So it looks like the conglomeration is now officially disbanded. It looks like Roppongi Vice, Trent Beretta, and Rocky Romero back. Roppongi Vice was a cool New Japan tag team. A heel Roppongi Vice would be really cool. Next was Megan Bayne versus Rebecca Scott and Ashley Vox, two jobbers. Bayne hit 3 power bombs onto one of them, the running clothesline onto another one, pinning both of them at the same time for the win. She lost the match to Toni Storm at Dynasty, but they're still putting her over like they did the Jade thing, and I don't know, I don't like it. Next was an Adam Cole Open Challenge for the TNT title. It was answered by Claudio. Cole shockingly won. I shouldn't say shockingly. Cole won with a crucifix pin, but after the match, Claudio got annoyed. He was getting pissed off. He was getting mad. He launched the announcer's table. He was wreaking havoc. Mox had to come out and calm him down, and it's probably part of losing the trios titles and stuff like that. Next was LFI, Los Faction Ingobernables versus 2 local talents, KM, Rosario Grillo, and MLG. I remember MLG from the COVID days. But obviously they lost. They lost to LFI. Obviously. Next was, for the Ring of Honor World TV title, Commander versus Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne did win, I remember. Yep, Nick Wayne won, becoming the Ring of Honor World TV champion. I believe becoming the youngest one, too. He hit Wayne's World. It doesn't say. I swore it said on TV that he was the youngest champion now. Wow, I missed. So the last match of Spring Breakthrough was Mercedes Moné. Yes, I know his favorite. He won't admit it, but we know. Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron versus Chris Statlander and Julia Hart. Statlander and Hart won, I believe. Okay, never mind. I thought it was Hart winning. Statlander won for the team, pinning Cameron in the ring. Other stuff happened on Thursday. Thursday was our WWE Trivia Night at Three Guys Pizza. That's pretty much in between. We can both get there in the same amount of time. It was cool. It could have been better. They could have had like wrestling related drinks, like theme, like just take the drinks that you had and just give them wrestling names. They could have had they had a couple TVs. You could have had wrestling on 1 or 2 of the TVs. They played wrestling music once in a while during the trivia. The trivia was cool. It was fun. We were doing good. We got 3rd place, which doesn't sound good, but then we dropped to like 4th or 5th. Then round 3 got really hard. We dropped to like 8th place. It was me and Dave, and then our boy from work who doesn't really know that much about wrestling. He kept saying it's Kofi Kingston an answer, and one of his friends who actually got us a couple of the answers, but some of them were tough. And there was one group that was getting every answer right, and then they got to the final Jeopardy question of the night, where you have to put how many points you want to wager. If you get the answer right, you win that. If you lose it, obviously, if you get it wrong, you lose all of it. And it was something like on a 2011, a May 2011 episode of Raw, what unknowing tag team won the titles, and then the tag titles, and then lost them within 8 minutes. And of course, we bet all because it's all or nothing. You got to go all or nothing. We bet all our points. We had the Miz and Damien Mizdow. I was going to tell Dave to go cheat. I was going to be like, yo, go to the bathroom, look it up, and come back. Unfortunately, we got it wrong, so we lost all our points. The team that was in first, they got every answer right, got it wrong. They lost all their points. I was listening before they gave out the answers, and we would have been 4th. I think we had 65 points, something like that. If we would have used if we would have lost 1 point, we would have ended up in 4th. I don't want to end up in 4th. It's either first or last. I'm not trying to, so I'm okay with losing all our points. The answer was Cena and The Miz, which makes sense. They were going into that WrestleMania with The Rock as the referee, enforcer, whatever. It made sense it was them. It was fun. Would I go back? I don't know. What do you win? You win a $25 gift card to Three Guys Pizza. So the prize isn't even a wrestling related prize. It could have been a lot better. We can run one better. We can run one even better than that. It was whatever. But let's move on to Friday Night SmackDown. So this was the SmackDown, the go home to WrestleMania. So obviously there wasn't going to be a lot of matches. They don't want to get somebody hurt that's going to have a Mania match. Unfortunately, it did happen on SmackDown. Unfortunately, but I'll talk about that in the news. Maybe I'll talk about it when it comes on. I don't know. We'll see. This is weird because he usually does this. Do you want to do it? He don't want to do it. He usually talks about the WWE stuff, and it's kind of weird for me. Friday Night SmackDown started. Carmelo Hayes won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. We knew it was happening. I'm not a fan of this match. It's whatever. Even before this, his boy Rollins came out, was saying some kind of promo. I don't remember what it was. A lot of the Rollins stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow on the podcast. God willing, he's okay to do it. Next was the WWE Tag Team Championship match of the Street Profits versus the Motor City Machine Guns. The match ended in a DQ and DIY came out, attacked both teams. They grabbed the titles, they ran to the back. Nick Aldis stopped them in the back. He's like, whoa, give the titles back. He took the titles. He said, you know what? No, we're not doing this. Next week on SmackDown, and you heard everybody booing. Next week on SmackDown, they're going to have a TLC match. The Guns, DIY, Street Profits. TLC match, titles hanging. It could have happened at Mania. There was time for it. They could have added it in there. It should have happened on Mania. Like I've been saying, this match should have been at Mania. Lyra should have had a singles match. Chelsea should have been on. Every title should have been on WrestleMania. I don't know why it wasn't. I don't like that it wasn't. Next was LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. It turned into a tag match when Jake Fatu and Braun Strowman got involved. So that obviously turned into LA Knight and Braun Strowman versus Solo Sikoa and Jake Fatu. LA Knight hit a BFT on Solo to get the win. Next was Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, and Dragon Lee versus American Made. This is where I was talking that there was an unfortunate injury. Rey Mysterio sprained his groin, and you can see in the middle of the match there was some confusion because Rey Fenix went up to Rey Mysterio. It's really weird, two Reys. Rey Fenix went up to Rey Mysterio and was like, Rey Mysterio was telling him what to do, how to finish the match, get it all done. But Rey Fenix did. He got the win for his team. Like I said, I'll probably say it again in the news. Rey Mysterio unfortunately hurt his groin, couldn't compete at WrestleMania. They did announce on the pre-show that Rey Fenix would take his spot I'm not a huge Rey Mysterio fan. I did like his old school, who's that jumping out the sky? It sucks that he lost his WrestleMania match though. It wasn't fun. SmackDown ended with the Cody Rhodes, John Cena, of course, talking to each other on the mic. I want to say Cody hit Cena again with a crossroads and to end the show. Next, we're gonna go to. Actually, after that was I didn't watch it live. I watched it Monday. Was the Hall of Fame. I don't have stuff in here on the Hall of Fame because we talked about it last week. Maybe I'll bring it up on the podcast because it's more part of WrestleMania than this. Watching the Hunter one, watching Hunter at the end, I was getting really emotional. I don't know if it's because we're getting older and our childhood stars or the people that we used to watch from the beginning are retiring, aren't wrestling anymore. I was getting choked up. They started talking about China, and you look at X-Pac out there, and he's just blubbering. X-Pac is blubbering. X-Pac is blubbering out in the crowd. It's just, and I really wish he was here because the Hunter Sean stuff, like Sean inducted Hunter, and some of the stuff Sean was saying, like, hit me. Like, he didn't have to choose me. Like, I haven't screwed up like Sean has screwed up, but I've screwed up in my life where he didn't need me around, and like I wouldn't blame him if he left. But he didn't, and that's like the Hunter and Sean thing, and he says it just because of our work-related stuff that he sees him as Sean and me as Hunter, but I don't. I see it the other way around. I see him as Hunter, and I see me as Sean. And it was just, yeah, it was an emotional night. It always is in the Hall of Fame, but watching someone like that, I already know when Cena goes into the Hall of Fame, whether it's next year or down the road. I would love to go to just the Hall of Fame. I don't have to go to SmackDown. I don't have to go to Mania. I would love to just go to his Hall of Fame induction. But yeah, that's it on the Hall of Fame. Let's get into Stand and Deliver. It was funny because the Hall of Fame lasted like 3 hours, but it started at 10 o'clock there, so it was like 1 o'clock. But NXT's call time was like 4. So Hunter comes up and he's like, I'm going to try to make this go as long as possible just so Sean can get mad because he's going to have to be at the arena in like 15 minutes. It was really funny. But Stand and Deliver I went a little too far. There we go. Stand and Deliver started with the number 1 contender elimination match for the women's tag titles. It was the Meta Girls, Fatal Influence, Gigi Dolan, Tatum Paxley, and Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley won. They get a title shot on Tuesday, facing the women's tag team championship. Whoever wins it from, obviously, this is going to sound weird, but there was a match at Mania. Whoever wins in a Mania, obviously, but other stuff happens that we'll talk about. Next was a North American Championship. Ricky Saints versus All Ego Ethan Page. Ricky Saints retained by hitting the Rochambeau. I love the Rochambeau finisher. It's so cool. Next was the NXT Tag Team Championship. Fraxium versus Hank and Tank. Hank and Tank hit the honk honk. I didn't know that's what the finisher was called. On the Nathan Frazier to win and become the new NXT Tag Team Champions. Congratulations, Hank and Tank. That's awesome. They were literally... Hank Walker was literally, his first story was he was security. He wasn't even supposed to be a wrestler, and now look at him, he's an NXT Tag Champ. Next was the Women's North American Championship ladder match. I don't have all the competitors. So let me think. Sol Ruka, Azaria, Thea Hale. I can't think of the rest. That's terrible. I should have wrote them down. Regardless, Sol Ruka won, becoming the Women's NXT Championship, and she's a 2-belt champ because she has the Speed title, which they even brought up on NXT, which is really cool. They brought up that she's a 2-belt champ. She's got the Speed title. Normally, that's usually like a, hey, let's keep that online on X only type thing. So I'm glad they did it like that. Next, we had the D'Angelo family versus Dark State. Dark State got the win when Stax turned on the Don, low blowing him. this is going to be a really cool story coming through. Like I've said, I saw a picture today, it had to be yesterday, that the Don, D'Angelo Dinero, has been in NXT for so long that he was in NXT. They showed a picture of NXT 2.0. I don't think it was a regular cage match. No, it was a War Games match. But everybody else on that picture is called up. Is already up on the main roster besides him, and it's crazy that he's still down there. He's so good. The NXT Women's title match was up next. Stephanie Vakir versus Julia versus Jordynne Grace versus Jada Parker. Stephanie Vakir hit the SVP on the Jada Parker to retain the title. Congratulations. That was a really good match. Next, we had the NXT Championship match. Obafemi versus Trick Williams versus He's Bouncy Javon Evans. Oba hit both of them with his Fall from Grace Power Slam to retain his title. And then some things happen on NXT that I don't know if I wrote down, but some things happen. So that ended Stand and Deliver. Obviously, this is where WrestleMania would be, but like every other PLE, that's going to be the podcast episode of this week. Hopefully, God willing, if he's off the IV, he might be in here in a cane, maybe an oxygen mask or something. I don't know. He's getting old. If there's not one tomorrow, we do want to apologize. We're new. We've only been doing it 4 months. We're working on it. We are going to have backup videos for when things like this happen. We haven't gotten there yet because we haven't had this happen yet. If it's not talked about tomorrow, we can talk about it next week. If we need to, I'll go to his hospital room. Maybe I'll turn down the little monitors and stuff. Not too much. I don't want to get boop. I don't want that. But maybe I'll turn down the monitors so we can talk about it. We'll figure it out though. We'll see. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna cut a promo on me. So let's go. Monday Night Raw. Here we go. It's gonna be weird, obviously, because a lot of things happened at Mania that should be talked about before Raw. But Mania is the podcast. John Cena came out starting out. John Cena came out for Raw. Started out Raw, pointing to the thing, how many dates he had left. I want to say there's like 26 dates he's got left. And he even said, I don't have to wrestle for them. I just need to be here. I think a cool heel thing to do. He pulls up. He gets out of the car. He enters the arena. There's a date. Bye. Gets back in the car and leaves. That would be really cool. He said after these 26 dates, no one's going to see the world title ever again because he did win 17 at WrestleMania. But Randy Orton surprised him from behind, hitting an RKO. And one of the greatest rivalries ever is back. It's coming back, and it's awesome. Next, we had the WWE Women's Tag Team title match. The champions, Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch. Becky it was supposed to be... I'll do a little bit. It was supposed to be Lyra and Bayley on WrestleMania. Bayley got attacked, so Becky came back. But it was them again, and Liv and Raquel are getting their title rematch because Liv and Raquel lost, obviously, because Becky came back and, she had to win a title. Liv hit the Oblivion on the Lyra to win and once again gain the tag team titles, become a 4-time women's champ. I like how she hit the Oblivion and she was holding Lyra's hair to pull Lyra back down to get the pin. After the match, Becky kind of lost it. She had a temper tantrum. She attacked Lyra. Heel turn. What a shocker. Look at her husband. Heel douchebag. I love that you're not here and you can't say nothing. Oh, God. Oh, man. Next, the New Day was out saying how great of a tag team they are. American Alpha came out saying whatever. It doesn't matter. Lights go out. You hear music. Returning Rusev comes back, destroys American Alpha. I was never a Rusev fan. I was never a Miro when he was an AEW fan. Rusev's back. And I don't have this in the news, so I'll say it here. Lana is on a Legends contract, and it's even more weird because on their anniversary of their divorce, they got remarried. Cool. Next, Io Sky was in the ring. She had a great match. She retained the title. Shockingly, the NXT Women's Champs, Stephanie Vakir, came out, challenged her to a match. It was an amazing match. Unfortunately, it ended in a DQ when Roxanne Perez and Julia attacked both of them. But then Rhea Ripley came out to help both the champs. I don't know where this is going. I feel like Roxanne's coming up. I don't think Julia's there yet. I mean, she's there, but I don't think they think she's there yet to come up. Next, we had a yeeting party, baby. Next, the new World Heavyweight Champ, Jey Uso, came out to celebrate into the ring with the fans, everything else, thanking everybody. Again, he was getting emotional. Didn't hear Sami Zayn's music. Oh, Sami Zayn's back. I'm so proud of you, this, that, and everything. Congratulations. I thought he was going to jump him. Because Jay was on the turnbuckle ready to do some yeets, and Sammy's like behind him, and I'm like, oh man, he's going to attack Sammy. But he doesn't. Sammy hugs him. Jimmy comes out. They're all celebrating in the ring. Everybody's yeeting together. It was amazing. It was awesome. I'm so glad he won. Congratulations. Commercial break. Commercial comes back. Gunther's at Michael Cole, yipping like a little girl. Whatever, because Michael Cole's been saying how he lost this, that, and everything. Michael Cole gets up. Gunther's in his face. McAfee comes over. He pushes McAfee. He grabs Michael Cole, gets him to choke. McAfee comes over. Pow! Hits him. They get him off. He's going to attack McAfee. McAfee walks away. Gunther gets him behind, gets him to choke. Everybody from the Pat McAfee jumps it. There's like 45, even he says, there's like 45 security guards holding back all his boys while he's over here dying, getting choked out. He gets choked out. They finally get Gunther away. Adam Pearce is like, come on, let's go in the back. We get you to the back. He's like, Michael Cole, take the rest of the night off. Michael Cole's like, this is going to be a cool storyline wherever this goes. Michael Cole is like, no, I am not taking the rest of the night off. How are we supposed to do our job if people are bullying us? I'm going to go out there and finish doing my job. That was really cool. This is going to be Gunther versus McAfee. I don't know if that would be a match, but this is going to be a cool story. Joe Tessitore was out there. You can tell Cole was still distraught, worried. He kept asking, can somebody please get an update on McAfee? Somebody please get an update on McAfee. Next was the Intercontinental Championship match of the new Intercontinental Champion Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. The podcast again, like, this is going to be a great episode. JD McDonough returned, pushing Penta off the rope, allowing Dom to hit a 619 and a frog splash to retain his title. Celebrating with Dom in the ring. Finn's on the outside, still confused, but you could tell that he's happy, but the story doesn't want him to be. That's really cool, though. Next, there was a big thing that happened on Raw. I don't want to talk about it alone. I would rather talk about it while he's here. We'll talk about it at the end of the podcast. Maybe we'll do if we don't do the podcast, maybe we'll do a short at work. That needs to be talked about together, because that's a big thing that's going to happen. It's something huge. And we have thoughts. We have a lot of thoughts about it. So next we're going to go into NXT from last night. NXT started with the women's tag title match. Liv Morgan and Raquel Gonzalez. She hasn't been Raquel Gonzalez since she's been in NXT. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Gigi Dolan and Tatum Paxley. Liv hit the Oblivion on the Gigi to win and retain the titles. Next, Ricky Saints came out. He was saying whatever about his match. Lexis King came out. Next week, it's going to be Cup versus title. The winner gets the Heritage Cup and the North American title. Cool, he says. All right, cool. But Lexis King had a NXT Heritage Cup match next against the returning Noam Dar. Noam Dar won with a back elbow to win the Heritage Cup back. That's always been like his baby. That was like when Ciampa would have the NXT and he called it Goldie and he would hold it like this. That was Noam Dar's like baby. I don't know why they would do the thing prior where he was talking with Ricky Saints, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Next was Thea Hale versus Fallon Henley. This seems like Fatal Influence is starting to break up. There was stuff happening on the outside during the match. Thea Hale won, though. Next was Javon Evans and Miles Bourne. Miles Bourne is the Randy Orton lookalike in the No Quarter Catch crew. Versus Osiris Griffin and Dion Lennox of Dark State. Dark State won with a double powerbomb onto Miles Bourne. And it was really weird because up the ramp, you can see the other two guys from the No Quarter Catch crew. Regal's kid, and I can't think of the other guy's name. Wow. I don't know why I can't think of either of their names. Next is the NXT Women's title match of Stephanie Vakir versus Roxanne Perez. This ended NXT last night. Stephanie McCure retained by hitting the SVB. After the match, Julia came out. Jordynne Grace was up in the crowd, so obviously they're not done with all that. But that was the weekend wrestling, obviously, not WrestleMania. But I believe it's time to go outside of the ropes to some of the news that we have for this week. So I have, starting off, WWE Fanatics announced, I guess they announced it at WrestleMania maybe, that there's a new podcast, Stephanie McMahon podcast called What's Your Story? Dana White was the first one. There's already 2, maybe by the time this is out, 3 episodes, but I know the first one was Dana White. I haven't watched it. They're like 2 hours long or so. Next, we have, like I stated in the actual part of AEW, Josh Alexander is All Elite. I just want to pull up some of his things that he used to be. I know he used to be a tag team champion TNA with Ethan Page, known as the North. That's what I thought it was. Oh, they were formerly the Monster Mafia before the North. I didn't know that. He was a 2-time former TNA World Champ. He was a 1-time X Division Champ. After he got done with TNA, he was a 1-time AAW Heavyweight Champion. Like I said, he was a tag team champ with the North. He is now in AEW. Congratulations, Josh Alexander. Matt Cardona is one of the newest hosts of Busted Open Radio, which I need to start listening to a little bit more. I don't get to as much as I always did, but it's funny because Bully Ray, who's on there, is always beefing with Matt Cardona. And now they're both hosts on there, and it's awesome. I love it. I can't wait to see it. A former AEW star, Fuego del Sol, who had a great story of how he became elite, one of Sammy Guevara's best friends, had a tag team with Fuego Dos, who was Cody Rhodes, in case you didn't know. I didn't say nothing. Don't worry about it. I didn't say nothing. You're good. He retired. I'm pretty sure he's retired from wrestling. In a match over the weekend at GCW, it was a title versus mask match. I don't remember his opponent, but he lost. So after the match, he had to take off his mask, laid his mask down. But while he was taking his mask off, he took his boots off. In the wrestling community, taking your boots off in the ring usually means you're done. He's not that old. I know he's got a bunch of kids. I don't believe he's that old. If he is, enjoy retirement. Enjoy your family. It was fun watching you in AEW. It was fun watching the stuff you and Sammy did. I liked seeing you on Sammy's vlogs. WWE said over the weekend on the pre-show that they acquired AAA in Mexico. There is rumors they want to name it NXT Mexico. Don't do that. Leave it called AAA. AAA had some amazing people down there. All the luchadors they had behind Hunter when they were talking about it, amazing. But the first time WWE, I don't want to say us, the first time WWE fans get to see AAA is NXT vs. AAA Worlds Collide is official and set for Saturday, June 7th. That's the day before my birthday. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Along with Matt Cardona becoming a host of Busted Open, Natalya is also a new host of Busted Open, which is interesting because Natalya would be the first someone on the WWE roster who was on Busted Open. Mark Henry, obviously, has always been on there, but when he was signed with AEW, he was still on there. Cardona is just the indie god. When Bully was with TNA, he did stuff on there. It's weird. There's always been a weird divide between Busted Open and WWE. I don't know why. They were doing more stuff at NXT. Maybe this helped open the door for that. But either way, congratulations, Natalya. Congratulations, Matt Cardona. AJ Styles said in an interview he was asked a couple years ago by TNA if he would like to be inducted into their Hall of Fame. He felt it was disrespectful to WWE. He doesn't want to retire. He doesn't want to be in the Hall of Fame until he retires. I get it. I understand it. I kind of always agree with that. As previously stated during SmackDown, Rey Mysterio suffered a torn groin on SmackDown, could not compete at WrestleMania. So Rey Fenix took his spot against El Grande. We'll talk about the match during the podcast. It didn't go the way it should have went. Either way, it didn't go the way it should have went. Bayley revealed on Chris Van Vliet that she has a year and a half left on her contract with WWE. Like, I want to see her stay, but the stuff they're doing, I can see if she leaves why she would leave. I don't blame her. She won the Rumble last year. She wasn't on the poster for WrestleMania last year. She gets attacked and is off the card this year for WrestleMania. So I get it. I wouldn't blame you or be mad if she did leave. Go with Mercedes, go to AEW, go somewhere. I don't know, take time off. Tama Tonga suffered an injury and may require surgery. On SmackDown, him and Solo were coming out, got out of the car, were walking in. LA Knight came, attacked. He slammed Tama's hand into a car door, giving them the angle of him being off TV. That's not the injury. I couldn't find anything about the injury, of what happened, what it was, and all that. But I saw statements of that's why they did that angle. And the last thing I have for the news, happy birthday. There's a bunch of wrestlers' birthdays today. Donovan Dijak, Jamie Hayter, AEW star Jamie Hayter, I think AEW star, that sounds really bad, Britt Baker. And a happy birthday to the 17-time world champ John Cena. I may be hurt. I still don't know how to feel after the end of the match, but you are the 17-time world champ. The champ is here. Happy birthday and congratulations. To go with our shout out for this week, last week on our WrestleMania Predictions podcast, when there was a comment from our boy D Loves Wrestling, a ton of stuff to talk about, guys. Maybe a group discussion this week. I want to leave it, but there's talks. There's talks of collaborations already. Guys, we've been here for 4 months, and we're getting collabs. This is awesome. I've been talking to him for a couple days now. Obviously, with things happening, we have ideas, though. And I'm excited. I can't wait. That was the news. That was the shout out of the week. It's time for promos of the week. Promo. I have two. I wasn't going to talk about the one because I wanted to bring it up in the podcast part. But you know what? I don't care. Technically, I had three because the Hall of Fame stuff with Triple H and Shawn, I kind of wanted to give him a shout out as a promo, a good promo. My first promo is on the female who at WrestleMania fell over, got hit by Stone Cold and fell over. Now, if you didn't see it, it's all over. Stone Cold came up the ramp on his quad, Sunday night, night 2, goes around the ring once, goes around the ring again a second time, gets a little out of control, hits the barricade. Now, let's just say he hits the barricade in front of Stitch over this side. Me, as the female, 4 seconds later after he hits, you see her fall down. After he already hit, he hit where she wasn't even at. And then it made a bit. Nick Khan came over. Austin checked on her. You can see the people in the crowd looking at her. You didn't even get hit. The barricade hit, and the barricade hit in front of the guy that you were with. There's rumors that WWE's taking it down because there might be a lawsuit. That's a joke. The person that gets a lawsuit is the person who backstage got hit by the golf cart that had Dominic Mysterio on it. That is a legit hit. This quad hit is a joke, and you should be ashamed of yourself. You were front row WrestleMania. We don't all get to do that. You were already there. Get over yourself. It didn't even hit you. You fell next to it. You saw money and you fell. Get over it, you stupid bitch. Now, on to my next promo. I was going to save this one. I wasn't going to do this one. But you know what? It happened twice in 2 days, so I'm going to talk about it. Obviously, it's the end of April, beginning of May, spring. It's getting nice out. Sun's always out. Bikers are out. Not bicycles, bikers, motorbikes, whatever we want to call them. They always say, respect the road. We're on the road too. Respect us, respect that, respect this. What about respecting the other people? You want to be on the motorcycle driving between both cars. You want to be on the motorcycle parking in a regular spot or parking where there's no spot, parking in front of the handicap stuff where we're not supposed to park at. We have spots at work for motorcycles. Oh, cry about it because it's all the way down in the corner. Get the fuck over yourself. You want to drive your motorcycle, park where the motorcycle parking's at. Don't park in normal parking spots, especially in a Team Dave parking area. That's not happening no more. I'm calling it out next time. I don't care. I'm tired of, and it's just now. I went to Best Buy yesterday to get a new camera. I get out, there's a motorcycle parked in the lines where nobody's supposed to park at. Park further down. I don't care. You're not privileged because you drive a motorcycle. I don't care. I never cared. It's always bothered me. Respect the road. Respect us too. Respect us in cars. You're the assholes driving in between cars. The assholes parking wherever you want to. A lot of places have designated biking spots. No, you just want to be an asshole and feel privileged and park close to the door. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's stupid. Whew. Okay. That was 2 promos, 1 and 1. You got anything to say for this episode? You're just gonna sit there and look cute. I understand. I get it. Thanks for being my tag partner today. I appreciate it. That's it, guys. That is the weird rewind for this week. Like I said, Dave wasn't feeling good. I said, "Hey, can I do it? Let me see what happens. I do it by myself." He said, "Go ahead. Maybe it's a good idea." Probably wasn't a good idea. I'll tell you that. But that's it. See you guys tomorrow for the podcast. Hopefully, if not, see you next week for the rewind. Peace out, guys. Welcome back to D&D Talk Wrestling. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. Welcome back to the DDT. No, that's not right either. How do we start? Why do I forget how we start these? What's going on? Welcome back to the D&D Talk Wrestling. Oh my God, why can't I talk today? Welcome back to the D. Oh my God.